Hi guys. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hi Stefan. I will wait about 2 minutes so the people that wanted to watch the stream are here. Oh hey, Artifact. Welcome to the stream. I'm great. How are you guys doing? How was your weekend? Oh cool. You will be drawing while the stream. That's cool. I like to draw myself when someone talks. So I think we can slowly start. So the first one is from AJ. And this is actually a pretty good drawing considering your age. Even if you did this with reference, like when you watched somewhere to draw it, it's pretty good. And when you drew this just from your head, that's just amazing. You're on the right path, so just keep doing what you do, and you'll get better. So that's the first thing that I would like to change, or kind of a trick what you can do. For example, this character was drawn on paper, and as you can see, there was not enough space for her legs to be drawn. In digital format, you can just drag it on a place you want it to be. But if you have this, when you are drawing on paper, there's actually a simple thing what you can do if you want later to scan the image. Oh wait. Oh yeah. So need to, okay. Wait. Oh man. I'm lost again in my layers. Oh yeah, now I can see. So the simple thing what you can do, and what I also did when I make some characters on paper and there was not enough space and I have not planned it beforehand, I just tuck the piece of paper to the another one, and you can place this Tesa film things from behind and just draw it to the end. So you have the whole character, or you have the arm that needed to fit into paper. So it's an easy trick and it's very useful. So, but for now I will just drag it like this to place it a bit better on the paper, on the canvas. And yeah, what you can do, AJ, for now, you have a lot to learn, but maybe you can remember the main things about the human anatomy, the proportions, and the basic ones. That, for example, is the head length. You can measure the body of the human with the hair length, and that's what artists usually do. And there are actually 7.5 to 8, we can say, for be it just simple, 8 heads in human body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can always just take a ruler to see how long your head is, and then just place 8 of those, and you can see after that where your foods needs to be. So it's an easy way for you right now to check if the body is the right size and in proportion with the head size. Oh, Makini, hi. Glad you're here. Welcome, everyone. So yeah, and based on that, I've adjusted so based on that I adjusted her upper body. I made it a little bit smaller. I adjusted her arms because if you see here, she has like really long forearms, but actually the forearm, is it forearm? How is things called? Well, this part of the arm from your shoulder to elbow, and this needs to actually be right where your talia is, so it needs to end here instead of here. So this is, so your elbow is usually when your talia is, so you can always measure it like this. Yeah, so I've adjusted yeah, the length of the arms here too, this one too, and just a little bit legs, but that's not that important in this thing. So yeah, next thing that I would suggest, if you just draw with pencil and you won't be coloring it later, or even if you will be coloring it later, to make the pencil stand out more, or the character stand out more, there's also an easy trick that how you can do it. It just add a thicker outline for your character. Like you can make the lines here inside a little bit thinner, everything here, like and the outlines to see the characters, the whole character. You just make it a bit thicker. And this actually also applies to inking. If you ink something, the easy way you can do your character more defined is to make the outline of it more thicker than the lines that are inside of it, all the lines here. So yeah. So if you have any questions, you can ask, of course, guys. I reading the chat all the time. Well, I try to. So another thing I can suggest, according also for the previous thing, the outline thickness, is to do the same thing to the eyes. That will allow to make a focal point on a face. That's, of course, is most of the time is the most important place of the character. So, and you can do it the same way for the eyes. Like, for example, even if I take away a bit of the contrast here from other things that I did. So if you make it a little bit for the eyes, it makes the face stand out more. One more interesting thing, what kind of is psychological. If you guys can draw good faces, then the body, anatomy of the body becomes secondary. Like you can kind of still have issues with your anatomy, with the body, but if the face is good, you can see that it kind of changes the whole character. You don't see the other issues that are clear, because you focused on the face and the rest of the body is not that important. Yeah, it's if you want to, for example, you like to draw characters and you want to get better like really fast, I would recommend to focus on heads and faces first. So you kind of have this interesting psychological thing going, that your characters will look good just because the face is good. So yeah, I mean, of course, you still need to study all other things and study anatomy later, but um, it, I can understand it can be frustrating to so many people, so many new artists. They have so much to learn. So I really probably recommend to focus first on the face and head. Stefan, I never thought about doing it to the eyes as well. Looks a lot better. Um, yeah, and even if you take like models photos and decrease, I mean not decrease, but you make highlights more efficiently. I can just show it. It's actually the same in real life. Yeah, just a simple and quick example. You can check yourself like this all the time if you're not sure where should be the focal point, where should be more black, where more contrast needs to be. And that's very simple. If you take a photo and increase the brightness, the highlights, can you see where the contrast is? Yeah, of course, the hair. Yeah. But you also can see that the eyes are still standing out. Everything else is almost disappeared, but the eyes on the face, they're always standing out. So final thoughts. AJ, you're doing great, really, for your age. You're pretty good. I'm impressed how much you draw, and I know you're very passionate about it. So just keep going, and you probably will be drawing much better that in my age than I am right now. So yeah, just keep going. Good stuff. Um, I would say that's it for this drawing. I don't want to say a lot of information at once. I just try to focus on most important things that artists can improve right now or work on it next. Like focus on learning those things. And it always like this. You don't learn all things in the same time. It's just not possible. So I suggest if you have some artist, you can ask also me, like, hey, what do you think I need to learn more or focus on more? And I would say just one or two things, because If I say everything, what you still needs to learn, it will be too overwhelming. Hey, Titus. So if you have any questions about this one, you can ask. If not, then I will go to another one. And by the way, this will be probably the last art critique stream. I want to switch it to pre-recorded thing. So I do the same what I'm doing now, but I just pre-record it, and I can focus like more on what I'm saying because of English, and because I have to keep in mind so much stuff, and it will be probably easily for me to and also it will be more useful for you guys, that you see the whole information kind of polished more and more concentrated without pauses or something happening. What colors would you use on this drawing? It can be anything, really. It depends on the character. There are not such thing as like kind of right or wrong colors for a character, but you can kind of combine the colors wrong. So the easy thing to explain if you're a complete beginner. So there's such thing as color wheel. I'm searching right now for a good example. This one will do. So if you are not much familiar with color, you can just make it easy for you and just go to internet and find already pre-made color palettes that work together, and you can use just those. Or usually what you can do, you can minimize the colors of your character. This is often made in cartoons or some easy art styles. You can, for example, take just two colors, and usually this will be complementary colors. And complementary color means, for example, you have a color wheel, you have a yellow, orange, and the complementary will be blue, violet, just when you make a line here. And those colors are always working good together. So you can choose any of them, any two of them, like green, red, blue, red, orange, blue, orange. They will work great together. What you also can do is just combine any of the color with black or white. Those also will be great, and they give a kind of graphic vibe to the character. or you can use other thing. There's a complementary color when you just choose two colors that are opposite of the color wheel, and also you can choose the three of them that kind of make a triangle. So you will choose the yellow, blue, and red, but one of the colors will be bright color and the other ones need to be a bit desaturated, so it's not too too bright or too confusing on the character. Oh, that's why we use the color wheel. Yeah, that's exactly why we use it. Yeah, the color theory is a really complex thing, and I'm still learning it myself. I'm still watching videos, and I actually started another course on 2D computer graphic. Yesterday was the first lesson, yes, where we exactly will be learning one more time about color, about lighting, about shadows, and all this stuff. So I'm also still learning, and so will be you. So for starter, you can just use those things that I explained, or just use pre-made color palettes. It's also useful. So then we'll go to next one. And by the way, I will upload those PSD files to my Patreon page to download them and see all the things that I've done and look through the layers. So, next one. Stefan, it's you. Yes, this is you. Yeah, great drawing actually. I didn't do much. Is it like comic spread, or because the woman here is in another kind of frame? That would be interesting to know. This one I haven't touched it at all. It's just great. I can probably see that you used a reference for her. This it's really great. The hands are awesome. So the middle finger is a bit too long, but just a little bit. I haven't touched her. She's great. It's the same princess, the same person, warrior princess. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I see. I see now. It's kind of a character spread or something, like character show off thing. Yeah, the first thing I did just for me to have it more easier to work with, I just added some contrast. But I understand it's photography. It's no biggie. Yeah. Yeah, the same thing. Always like check proportions. Yeah, I kind of do this mistake too. Wait, I'm lost. Oh, here. No, not here. Oh, here. Yeah. So her head looks a bit too big right now. The option you have is to make a head smaller or to make her torso bigger. We kind of, if you make for example, here is her jaw is somewhere here now, and her head looks a bit too big, so I would adjust it. But otherwise it's pretty accurate. The knee, this, yeah, it's pretty good. Here I've placed that you have your character too near to the edge. She looks kind of squeezed in this frame. We have so much space here. That you actually could do something and not to squeeze this too much to the edge here, because it doesn't look good. Usually what you do is to let your head of the character to have more space, like so you have a portrait or whatever. So what you do, you have a canvas here, and you will be placing like head somewhere here, and then go here, and then the rest you can even cut, and it will still look like good because the head has space here. The head needs to breathe. So yeah. What else? No, it's too early. What did I do here? No. So no. Okay. So yeah, and according to this, I replaced the character a bit lower. The thing that her spear was poking through this line, through the box, it was cool, and I actually made it longer to perceive it like this. And also why I did it, it's because the head and the spear for now almost the same length, and it always kind of cooler, if you have peaks that are that have more space. I don't know how to explain it. For example, yeah. For example, if you draw mountains, if you do it always like this will be too boring. Yeah. You want to have variety of those peaks, and it will be cool if something like this will happen. So the same on the character. If I have something, I kind of want to make it like more bigger here. Something like this. Of course, it depends. If you say it needs to be that length, it has a purpose, then it can be. But usually it just looks cooler. So. So yeah. What else? What else? So I kinda lost again what I wanted. I know what I want to show, but I lost the pre-made thing. Oh, here it is. Probably, yeah. This is already the fourth. Oh my god, I'm so. Yeah, I've started adjusting the head. Like I said before, it was looking a bit too big, and it was not only the problem because it was too long, but also because it was too wide. So you can see, oops, you can see here when I try to like draw her skull, it will be something like this. Like this part of the skull looks too long, this one. Usually the skull from side can kind of fit into a square. And you have more of this form. And here she even looks a bit to us, so like that's not from the side, so this square will be even smaller, because if you rotate it, this side will become smaller. So yeah, that's why the head looked too big. So I also darkened this area. You had highlights on the hair there, but actually this part will be in shadow, so no highlights will be there. Even if the in semi-realistic thing, those areas near your jaw, there is not much light coming through the hair because it still has thickness, and those areas will be pretty dark. Even if you take a photo of the blonde girl and desaturate it and see where the darker parts are, like we did with previous photo, you will see that those areas will be pretty dark. And you here have a simpler style, stylized, so I would just recommend to make it like darker or complete black, and that will allow to make a focus of the viewer to the face. And focus usually is when where the most contrast is. The contrast is of course where black meets with white. That's the highest contrast. That's also contrast, but it's not that contrasty as this one. So, and those kind of contrast you want to have on your focal point. On the focal point, as we know, needs to be on the face of the character. For example, it can be here, but if you want to have the main focus point on this character, you needed to make it here, like maybe to completely draw her hair black, make some shadows here, eyes, I will look a bit on the chat. I see that Sergey is there. Hey, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. I usually get carried away and careless with proportions. Yeah, it can happen. You need to kind of stop yourself and take time just to check all the proportions, like to measure it, like okay, this head is so big, this so big. You need to do it on purpose, kind of. Don't forget about that, especially if you already know that it's exact your mistake. Just make a checkpoint on your head that every like, or usually you do this on the sketching phase, because after that it's kind of useless, or it's too much time to replace the figure or redraw it. So do it on the sketching phase more, like kind of every 15 minutes if you need to. So, and after that you forget about this when you sketched everything good, and you do your line art, and you don't need to check this anymore. Gonna get better, yeah. Black Quarter Art, hi, welcome to the stream. Oh my god, so much people today. I'm kind of not used to it. And David, hey. So I will go. Oh yeah. What I also wanted to explain. You see your face looks a bit kind of as if it's melting, um, in this way, in the wide way, and that's because human head in perspective is kind of a, you have a cube here and a bit wider cube here. So the face is not that wide as the side of the head. The face is smaller. And if you rotate your head like this here, it'll be something like this. So you have only this space to your face, and now it's kind of too wide. You will have it more like this because you still have space between your here eye corners and kind of side of the face that goes into to the back. So it will be this space is about eye size. So you need to have here about an eye size, this face, and this will be in the middle, like this. So your eye needs to be here. This will be side of the face, and then we will see the side of the head. So yeah, was it clear? I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. So yeah, the eye needs to be here, and here you will have I see you have fun there in chat. I'm starting in the world of commissions and I have problems for my prices. Any advice? What kind of problems do you have? It's kind of hard to give you advice for such a question that can mean so many things. Have you already tried to sell something and you think the price was too low or too high? Explain. Cool. Are you okay or good? If you are okay, then take your age and multiply it by 5. This is your lower price. If you are good, then multiply by 10. That will be your lowest option then. And how do I get into yours? Criticism. I feel like I'm very caught up in my style and I need professional look. I do critiques for my Patreons. If you sign up for Patreon tier, €5 the proud ounce. You can submit your artwork and I will make an overdraw and critique. Or also you can, I don't know, there's probably a link to my Discord server. If you have Discord, just go there and we have a feedback section when you can where you can upload your art, and I occasionally look there and try to help how I can. And there are actually also other artists that are helpful too, so you can hear the different opinions, but most of the time they are the same that anyone would tell you. So I will be probably nice with my advice. So the next step. Yeah, I also added a little bit thicker lines to add more contrast to the face. You can see here by the eyebrows and by the eyeliner. So yes, I dragged it to the lower place. Optional. You can do the same thing that I explained previous. You can, for example, add thicker outlines to your character to show the silhouette more. But if you do so here, you probably will need to add this here and also here an even thicker one because this is in the foreground. Otherwise it's kind of looks strange. So from something like this. So we needed to thicken the outline on the box and even more on this character, because what line thickness does in this art style, it shows us how close the object is. So the closest object will be with the thicker outline. The other one that stands behind it will have a smaller one, and so on. And this way you can add depth into your pencils or inking sketches and drawings. And if you want to make details in your art, so this will be the foreground, for example, then you need to take a little bit less thicker line and then add your details. So the silhouette of the thing, of the object, stays solid. And the same here, this thickness, you need to take something that's not that, actually I would do this thicker here, so we have a difference. So and so on. You understand that the nearest object is the thicker the outline or the darker it will be, and the more far away it is, then the outline will get thinner, and also the details in the object. So this way you can show the depth. So I'm reading the chat. I will definitely join the Discord server. Yeah, the link should be in description, so just go there. Oh, I like the heavy outline. Yeah, cool. You can find the invite link in the socials channel after you join. Continue scroll all the way up. Okay, great. Thanks. I will join Discord. I don't use, but I will try to use more. You haven't told what's the problem with commissions. It depends on many things. It depends on how well, first on how good you are, yeah, in eyes of others. It depends on how many followers you have. If you have a ton of followers, no matter how good you are, you can still price up your commissions. And this means just you need to adjust the asking of people, like do people want your commissions, with the price. The more people want your commissions, the higher price there will be. So if you're just starting, I probably will start on a lower price and just go up from there. Like you can say, okay guys, I'm doing one commission, that's the first one. I have one spot, and of course you need to add some examples how it will look. This is very important. And maybe you can even see how much people will pay you. Like for this one commission, you will say you can suggest your price. I have one place for my commission, and you can suggest your price, kind of who gives you more. This person becomes the commission or something like that, and just see from there how much you can take for it. Yeah. And if you do the opposite, like you have a you have your price, let's say, I don't know, $20 for sketch, and no one wants it, maybe you will need to go lower. And if many people wants a sketch from you for $20, then you should go higher. Like yeah, bidding. I was missing this word. kind of bidding thing is would be also interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to keep in your mind, and it's all about how interested people are in your commissions, and how much you can ask for it. So yeah, it's also hard to say right now because we don't see your works. Maybe if you go to Discord server and just post also in feedback, for example, the set of your works that you want to use for commission promotions. and ask, hey guys, here are my works. I want to do commissions. What do you think? How much I can take for it? It also depends. Do you do commissions on paper like traditional? Usually it should cost more because you're using up your paper, your art supplies. So yeah, it depends on many things. So the thicker outline was optional. Well, you can leave it like this or you can add it. And the last one I've noticed, you probably used a good reference for the bridge, but I noticed that the parallel lines are not matching. For example, where am I? I'm here. For example, you see this one is parallel and this one is not. And in perspective, this thing cannot happen because those things will all have parallel lines. So yeah, you need to check it also. Yeah, that's probably all I can say about this work. Maybe the arm is too long, a bit, just a little bit. But I kind of like it. I don't want to change it. Overall, it's a really good drawing. It's pretty cool. Keep it up. Good work. I see that you use reference. That's awesome. So, what is there in the chat? Is it advisable to use traditional drawing for portfolio? It depends. It's my favorite word. My throat dry out from talking. Okay, see, portfolio. The portfolio should be adjusted for a purpose that it needs to have. For example, if I want to work for Blizzard, my portfolio should look like I'm already working for Blizzard. That means I need to have the same style that the artworks have. I need to have the same level of my drawing skills, painting skills that they have. And you need to ask yourself, what is the portfolio for? Of course, you can use your traditional art in portfolio. And there are people that are working for companies that produce, for example, they make products. And there's one illustrator, I forgot her name, but she also has a YouTube channel. She makes those awesome drawings with color pencils, and they are really realistic looking, and those are like apples, flowers and stuff, and that's her job. That's all she does. And of course she has in portfolio her traditional art. um, or For example, I have a portfolio for commissions that I make, traditional commissions. So I make traditional commissions. I offer you one. And of course, I need to have in my portfolio already made one, traditional paint art that I made, so you see how it will look. But if you want to work for a game company or mobile games, they probably won't need to see what you do on paper, except it's a style for them. It's kind of there are people, for example, that like this sketchy style, papery, so you can have it there. So yeah, it depends. Say what you need your portfolio for, and I can answer more clearly, blah blah, probably. So yeah, um, sometime I think is low my price compared to other on DeviantArt, and sometime I think is good, not too low and not too high. I do some commissions almost 50 plus this year. My price go for 40, 55, and 70. Yeah, for I would love to see your art, to make some thoughts. It's really hard to say something about this, but if you're already selling commissions like for 50 plus, that means your art is absolutely worth it, and you can just slowly adjust, higher your price and see where it goes. Always try to find that balance, be reasonable, but don't sell yourself short in pricing. I have that issue, especially since I'm pure traditional. Yeah, it's sometimes hard, um, especially traditional. You have so much stuff that you are using off, and you need to rebuy it. Do not use originals in your portfolio. Yeah, Sergey, I already told, it really depends on what you are doing. If you're a traditional artist and you have commissions on that from companies, you of course need to have traditional drawings in your portfolio. I want to do freelance, but I would like to do comics. Yeah, there's your answer. If you want to do comics, you need to have comics in your portfolio. And probably it needs to be done in digital way, because a lot of companies make comics right now, and they want them to be done really fast, simple. So yeah, you just need to have some comic pages in your portfolio. Just you can imagine a story yourself, or you can find scripts on internet. Even for Marvel and DC, they have sometimes the scripts that you will receive from company to do comics. And this will be also a great practice for you. Maybe if you haven't done it before, to see even can you work like this, do you understand everything what they are saying there, because they use also a different language, not different language, but some special words that you need to know. And I will suggest you to find just in Google, just Google sample script Marvel DC or just some other comic, and try and do the pages based on this. So, and you when you are finished, you automatically have your portfolio done. Like if you do like 10 pages, that's all you need, just to the client also needs to see if you are consistent, and he can see on those 10 pages, for example, what he can wait from you, like what the result will be. And if you want, I see that you wrote that you want to focus on drawing. You can also just do line art, like and someone else will be coloring it. This works for a bigger companies, a bigger publishers. The smaller ones, they usually don't have that much money, and they want really that the one artist that they hire can do everything, like even the lettering and stuff. But yeah, if you just wanna concentrate on drawing, you can absolutely just do a drawing part of the comic and place it in your portfolio, and you just will say really clear, I do this, and if you want, hire me. That's also cool. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm not used to talk that much. I can do line art and drawing, but I still need to learn coloring. Yeah, see, for now, you can just put your comic line arts in your portfolio, and someone may hire you. Maybe someone needs only outlines. Who knows? Yeah, maybe it can be your art style. It's doesn't need to be in color. Yes, I know. I just joined to Discord. Yay, welcome. I have to figure out how to use, and during the day I will send my work. Sorry for my English is very bad. It's okay. Your English is pretty fine. Mine English isn't perfect anyway, so it's okay. The mean part, you can express yourself and we understand what do you mean, so it's okay. Relax, nobody here speaks proper English. I think Titus does. When I'm not mistaken. um, and probably Stefan too, so but yeah, no worries, no one will harass you because your English is bad or kick you out of Discord. Yeah, McKinney does. Uh, okay, we will go to the next one slowly. I will save it. Yeah, if you still have questions, just ask. Yeah, Sergey. It's cool. I'm American and my English isn't perfect, lol. That's actually that's also true. That's also true for I think for all the native speakers of language. Um, if you are just native speaker, that doesn't mean that you know your language perfect. If you study like linguistic or something, then probably. But if not, you probably do so much mistakes. In Russian too, my native language is Russian, but I don't know everything about it, and I'm sure I'm making some mistakes that a person who studies like Russian literature and linguistic will say to me, "Wow, you bad." Don't say it like this. So yeah, what can I say here? That's an awesome work. I actually know Sergey for quite some time, and I can say that he improved so much from the how much years we know each other. That's pretty awesome. I enjoy every time he posts because I see how much he improved. Was done somewhere early 2018. Um, that's my thinking. You probably did this first in grayscale and then added color, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, I can kind of reveal why I know this. Maybe, or maybe I'm mistaken. Well, duh, that means you did it in grayscale. And what do you think why I can say it? Not because I know how you usually do this, but there's something if you're doing first painting in grayscale and then adding color. Um, um, a bit color theory again. Wait, I need a color wheel. I will grab one here. Because it's mushy. No, not because that. Um, so, where is it? Where is my... Oh, here. Interesting thing. Um, Now, doing painting in grayscale is actually a great technique, especially when you're not that familiar with colors. And like me, I'm still kind of, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, uh, what people don't know that each color has his own value. What does it mean? We have here a color wheel. And those are the saturated colors. If I pick here, then it will be on the brightest color, not the brightest, but the purest color. Each of them probably, yeah, kind of somewhere here. But when we speak about the value, if we do this picture black and white, no, not that, go away, please. Black and white. So what we see, oh, it's suddenly they are not the same values. Interesting thing is that, for example, the blue one will have a lower value than, for example, the yellow one. The yellow color will not be darker than the blue one. It's just not possible, because each color has his own value, and you can see here which colors are darker and which ones are brighter. So, and I understood that you did this first in grayscale because your blue colors are way too bright. You probably I have somewhere here the black and white version. Oh, I can just do it like this. So we see here the really bright and the skin of this dude is kind of yellowish. So and now yellow is almost the same value as the blue here, but it can't be like this. So that's how I managed to say that your was doing it from. So this looks more like blue, and this all looks more like yellow. Yeah, if you will need to add color. Yeah, or this can be this color. Which one is it? This the green one. So yeah, that can be the issue if you're doing first the grayscale and then the coloring. You kind of need to plan out which colors will be on the character or on your painting. Or of course you can adjust it later, like just for example, you have this under layer with only gray scales, and you just select all the blue parts. Yeah, for example, his eyes are also blue, and you just, oops, I cannot do it. Why? And you just add an adjustment layer. Yeah, let's take this one and just make it darker, and then the blue color will look natural on these spots. So yeah, this actually is the thing that I learned not so long ago, so it was also mind-blowing for me, and now I am sharing this with you guys. I don't need this anymore. This I don't need, and this I don't need. Hey, I was young and unexpected. Yeah, inexperienced, sorry. Um, you want to say you know it now? After I told you? Then say it. Yeah, okay, let's start from beginning. So yeah, the first thing I also did, I need to drink. I can't talk that much. So the first thing that I did, I've made an adjustment layer and no, not this, not this, not this, and not this. I've made an adjustment layer and checked your values. And what I see here, you have a you have a good contrast on your character, which is good, and here on the bird, which is awesome. But your foreground, this thingy here, and the curtain are kind of on the same brightness that your background is, and this can just be like this because the background is usually made a bit darker. So I've made it like this here, and you already can see that it makes difference. You kind of see now that there's a foreground, and before that it wasn't clear. So the next thing I did, I just added a little bit of light here. Maybe it's a fog, or maybe there's something glowing, or maybe something else, but I think it helps also to separate the foreground from the character. So I was just trying to understand on this point what I want to do with the contrast, with the values, so the picture is clearer. So I've made the background a bit brighter. Added some shadows to the characters' arms because they weren't that good of a standout. And yeah. So, and I've kind of did this, and based on that, I've tried to do the same in color. What do you have there in the chat? Okay. So, based on the edited value things, I've tried to do the same with the color. I've darkened this area, the foreground. Then I have added some glow or whatever is here. It helps a bit with keeping the foreground separate with the character and this thingy that is behind the character. Okay, I've made the red here also a bit brighter and less saturated, because before that all of your colors on the picture were saturated in the same way, which will not be the case in real life, and actually you don't do this on the picture. You saturate colors the same way as you do the contrast on the focal points, and the rest of the picture you need to kind of desaturate them, so it's not too overloaded with different colors. This rule can be broke when your art style is cartoony, very stylized, but for this kind of artwork, I think what you are expecting is more of a naturalistic coloring and lighting. So yeah. Here, yeah. Yeah, just one more time what I said, that all colors were too saturated, and there's needs to be one place that happens, that this happens, to kind of make the focal point. So I've desaturated colors on the back, and then I've added blue cast on the background. It also adds depth to the image if the back, me, and foreground have different white value range. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know this right now. It's actually it's actually a pretty easy thing to do. You just need to remember. I already kind of did this with the line art, but the same thing goes to the painting. Like here will be the darkest one, the foreground, then you will have something in the middle, and this, and it also can be, if you draw a thumbnail, for example, your character is the most dark, then you have kind of ground here, and then some other things that are not that dark are in the background. So yeah, and in this easy way you can just make a value thumbnail. And I suggest, if you color your things, have always a one layer with adjustment that makes your drawing black and white, just to see your values, just to check them now and then. like to have it on one layer and just switch it on and off from time to time. I was talking about this blue cast. I've just added here blue color with soft brush, and then I decreased opacity and set it to the hue. Hue is the color on the color wheel. That happens usually. You can see it very good with the mountains. So the air that the air that we have around us when you are outside, it kind of casts this kind of blue fog on the objects. So the further the object is, the more this of this blue fog you will see. This is, you can see this really well on mountains. I will find a good example. So here I have one. So you see here, well, actually the grass and the mountain, they're kind of green, but the further away the mountains are, the bluish they appear and less saturated they are. That's because I don't. There is a term for it, but I unfortunately don't remember it in English. How it's called? Maybe someone knows, then left in the chat. There's actually a term for this, and light displacement maybe, but actually the physique of it is pretty easy. So for example, you are here and the first mountain is here, the second one is here, third one is here, and from you to the mountain, you think there's nothing, but actually there's air, and air has particles, the atoms, and they also diffuse light. So you will see this mountain very clearly with less particles that are here. Then the further it goes, the more particles you're seeing in front of something, and the more they diffuse this light. So this mountain will have this blue cast, and also this will be desaturated because we see this through all the atoms of the air. The artist course, atmospheric fog. Yeah, thank you. Reflection. Something like this, but you don't need to know the exact name of it. You just need to understand how it works and apply it on your paintings. So we are going further. Where was I? I was here by the fog. Yeah, you can see here when I switch off and on, this layer, it's kind of add this feel of depth to the background. Yeah, one more thing about the metal. Um, I think it needs to be more shinier. Sorry, I was watching to the chat, trying to always see what you have to say there. Atmospheric perspective, yeah, I've heard this one actually. This, yeah. For some reason, all I can think of is range of motion. Also, for the earlier part about color, I dropped an interesting PDF in the Discord server on the resources. Yes, the shiny thing is a fine addition. About actually, I've dropped the tutorial about the previous color theory also in my Discord channel in tutorials. You can, this guy explains it a lot a lot better than I do, and it totally makes sense. So check it out if you're in my Discord server. Um, so the metal can also look like you did it here when it's not that shiny, like if it has when it's matte, when it has not a lot of scratches and the surface is rough. But usually we see it more like a shiny thing. And metal has own color, but also it reflects a lot of colors that are around him. Rusty, yeah. Yeah, the rusty metal doesn't reflect anything if you think about it. It's just the orange color or whatever color it is. It can be green if it's copper. So yeah. But usually we want to draw those metal things like they're new and shiny, and metal is a highly reflective material. So that means that it will have the most bright highlights and the most dark shadows, reflections, kind of things. So for example, on the skin, skin is not that reflective. So if I take the color here and I want to make a highlight, I just go a little bit over here, like adjust the color a bit. And this is even too bright. I need to adjust a little bit. So if I want to make a highlight, so it will be not different from the color of the skin. If I do it too much, then the skin will appear wet, because water is also very reflective surface. So, but on the metal, you almost always just go for almost white color, because the highlight will reflect the most light. So the color, the light here is a white color because it's sun and day. The color is white. So the highlight will be the almost the purest white. And then near them, we will have a really dark kind of shadow thing. So what happens also metal will reflect everything around it. So for example, usually if it's outside, the biggest surface is the blue sky, so metal will reflect what is above it, the sky. So it will reflect this blue color, and down it will reflect maybe the clothing that is under it, or it can be also here, for example, there's probably only ground, and based on the here the city and the birds exotic, that's probably kind of yellowy sand ground, so it will reflect this color. So I've added here a little bit of blue. Yeah, and here kind of this color that will reflect from the ground. If a dude can afford several sapphires, I think he can afford to remove rust from his metals. Yeah, it's only logical. It is white because he stands in the sun. If you have another light source, the highlights will be exactly as bright as that light source, not brighter. Yeah, I've told already it's white because it's the sun. But if you had instead of the sun like this bright blue thing that glows, the same color will go to those parts of the highlights here. So what's next? Oh yeah, it's not visible, or oh no. I kind of reduced a little bit of the saturation of the colors on the background, and I've made this bird a little bit darker because right now it seems like if the bird is almost glowing. The green is so bright, it's like the pure, probably the pure green. Yeah. Well, it can be that it's glowing, but then you need to add you will need to add some reflections here on the fingers because it's glowing. Yeah, I just wanted to just dim down this green a bit so it's not that too bright. I also adjusted the sword a bit. Well, before that, it was kind of funny. You can see his hands; they are pretty big, and then he has this two-handed sword, but he has not enough space here to actually grab and with two hands this thing, and even for one hand, for his hands it's too small, so I kind of just dragged the handle a bit and adjusted then the sword. And also what I recommend for such kind of hard objects, you need to make the outlines of it also hard. Right now it's kind of looks wobbly and stuff, but it's hard metal. Like you will have like really defined edges here. You can add afterwards kind of worn out places, but it will be worn out inside of the form and not out of the form. So I will suggest to take a lasso or something and just draw those hard things with lasso. Here's of course not that important because it's handle that is made with also leather, but it still needs to have like this hard form where you afterwards make a leather around it, so you don't lose this hard metal form. So yeah. And right now, if you see, he kind of don't has any shadows, as if he were standing in very diffuse light, and he has only those shadows of the form, like a little whoops like a little bit here, yeah, but he stands in outside and the light comes from here, and actually the shadows outside are very contrasty and you can definitely see them. So I've added a layer on multiply, just some darker, also bluish color to define more this form, because right now it doesn't look like he stands out of the sun. So yeah, and also it helps to define more the focal point of the character. Hey Courtney, I'm not home yet. Have you started on the submission from AJ? I've did a submission of AJ as first. You can see it later when the stream is on YouTube. It will remain here, and you also will be able to download the file that I did the overdraw from the Patreon later. So yeah. So yeah, here I just started to overdraw some things and some little thingies, adding light and a little bit of shadows, and here reflections, because this material, this blue material here is so bright blue that it will definitely reflect on the skin, some of it. So I've kind of added it here. I've added reflection here on the cape, on the hat, and I've adjusted those sapphires, so they look like a gems. And there's an easy way you can draw them or something to look like a gem. It's actually it's the same principle that I explained the last one with eyes, because they are made of glass, kind of, this is glass but with color. So the same principle that applies to our pupils and irises. So if you have a form here, let's say you want to draw a gem that looks like this, so you need to decide where the light comes from. For example, from here, it will be a dark blue color gem. So the light comes from here. So on the opposite side of the gem will be the brightest one. It will have the most saturation. So, and on this side, here will be a highlight, kind of, from the side. Always where light comes, this side will be a highlight. So it will be a desaturated blue and very bright because it's glass. So there you have it. And the more saturated and bright you make here, this part, oops, wrong brush, the shinier, the deeper the color looks on the gem. So I did the same thing. Oh yeah, and I forgot to add a really deep color here. Here will be kind of the shadow. So yeah. It will be the same for gems with sides. If you do something like this, and colors come from here, we take a base color. So this will be the side where it reflected the color, like highlight. Then once again, wrong brush. And this doesn't work. Awesome. More highlight. So I hope you understand the principle of it. Okay, I really forgot that you were in Germany when I looked at the time that was set for the live stream. I always add the time zone You probably just overlooked it. I was make a for example 8 p.m. Germany, the time zone, and YouTube, when the stream is up, it will show the rest of the time that we have, and it doesn't matter if you know the time or not. It just tell you 5 hours until the stream, and that's all. Yeah, makes sense. It looks great. Yeah, I hope it was helpful. You know now how to draw gems and stuff. And here I want to show one more time the before and after. So before and after. It looks more natural, not that colorful. Maybe it can be what you want, but yeah. One more thing that I noticed, that you use the same color for lights and for shadows. I've already explained it last time. I will do it for the people that are first time today. For example, you have a base color of this hat. Wait. You have a base color of this. What the heck? You have a base color of this hat. It's red. How do you choose the colors for the brighter parts and the colors for the shadows? It's very easy. You go pick your color, and there are 2 ways you can do it. If the color where the character is warm color, okay, we took a cold one because we have a cold one. If it's the cold color, like here, because the sun color is the cold color, we go from this red, look the color square I have here, we go towards this corner, to the white a little bit. We desaturate the color and we make it brighter. And then because the color is cold, the light is cold, we drag the hue here of the color a bit to the colder side. And then it's a bit brighter, and then we can add highlights and brighter parts. For the shadows, we do the same. We take again our base color, but we do the opposite. If the light is cold, then the shadows are warm, and the opposite, if the light is warm, then the shadows will be cold. So we go here more saturated, that means in this direction, to the right, and a bit lower, so darken. We saturated it more and darken it, because all the shadows are more saturated. And the hue, we need to make it more warmer, so we go actually on the opposite side to the warm here, so we need to drag it all the way here, or if it's a color wheel, it's easier for you to pick it. You just go to warmer colors. So we do it like this, and we draw, then we shade with a little bit darker with shadows. So this way you have a variety of color in your painting, and this doesn't look flat. And overall, and good advice, the base color, especially if you do something like this realistic painting, realistic coloring, your base color cannot be on this side of the color square. So it needs to be desaturated. So you can draw a line here, kind of, and your base color will usually be somewhere here, like somewhere in the middle. It can be a bit darker, a bit here, but somewhere here. So this will make your painting more natural looking. And afterwards you can of course add more saturation if you need to do something, but it's very helpful to start with less saturated colors, because yeah, because see how it looks different? Just the kind of two strokes that I added. It's kind of looks totally different now. So that's it. Ask some questions if you have any. I will be happy to make a short break for a drink. You did good, yes. Thank you. What do you think, guys, about my idea that I pre-record those things instead of doing live streams? I thought that for critique it will be better, but if you guys want to still hang out and having a live stream, I can just separate like art critiques, pre-record, and just make a draw hangout thingy, just separate, just sketch something, and then we can talk and laugh. You said you were going to post the color theory in Discord. Could you post it on Patreon as well? I can do it, yes, I think. You mean the tutorial that I meant? Yeah, okay. I'm thinking about now how I better do it. Yeah, I just posted like a usual post, or I will post anyway the PSD files of the overdraw thingies on Patreon to download, and I will post the links to the tutorials in the same post then. The chat is fun. Keep it in the Discord makes more sense as everyone has access to it. Yes, but not everyone has a Discord. And for example, Stefan is my Patreon, but he has no Discord, so it will be kind of rude to tell him now, if you have no Discord, you won't see the tutorials that I post there. I don't know. I will post it on Patreon as well. Yes, that sounds great. It would be cool to hang out and watch the critic separately. It's cool either way. Yeah, I think I will try it out and see how it goes. Maybe I will switch again to live critique. But for me, for now, it makes more sense when I, for example, can prepare terms that I mean that I don't have in my mind right away, and yeah, just to add more flow into critiques. Um, so we have less of a how is this word, or I don't know what I mean, or something else. Do 20-minute critiques videos and casual streams. Yeah, that actually was what I meant. I just pre-record, make a like a regular YouTube video art critiques, and you can watch it whatever you want. Of course, you still, if you have some questions about the critique, you can always write me on Discord or Patreon, or also in my Instagram. That's the most socials that that I check the messages. So yeah, I think we do this separately from now on. And of course, in the comments, yeah, I will, yeah. In the comments of the video, if something was still unclear, I will reply then and try to explain to you what I meant. Oh, actually, those are all the pictures that were prepared today for the critique. I have not much patrons now, and though that's why not so much submissions. So I had like only 2 submissions, and I took the picture from Sergey when I asked my followers for try out examples for critique video. I still have this folder, so I sometimes pick pictures from there. Great work. You mean the Sergey, or did I do the great did I do the great work? Either way, thanks. From Sergey up to. He means both of us. Yeah. Thank you for your time. I learn more every time. I'm actually, I kind of love to explain things, even if I can't do it like good in English. But I enjoy sharing my knowledge. So I still want to keep this thing going. And it means a lot always when you say afterwards that you learned a lot and that it helped. So I really enjoy this thing. Cool stream, learned some useful things and techniques. Yeah, I'm glad I was helpful. And as I said, I enjoy sharing my knowledge. I I actually, I've already kind of mentioned it, but I started a new course on Skills Up School. Um, this will take 12 weeks, and it is about kind of CG, digital 2D graphic, painting, light, color. And after that, I will have a lot of more knowledge, I hope, about all these topics, and I can also share it with you guys what I learned. So, yeah. A lot on proportions. Yeah, proportions are always thing, kind of. Everyone likes to draw characters, and yeah, and that's the thing that you see right away when proportions are off. I even think that proportions are even a little bit more important to learn than the anatomy at first, because that's when anatomy is kind of a bit off, when your shoulder, when you don't know when the bicep is kind of connected, it won't show that great in comparison if your forearm is too long, or if your neck is too long. You kind of see it right away. Wait until we get into composition. That will be yeah, I've seen actually a good video on composition also from the previous course that I did, and composition is very relative topic. You always can break the rules. The main thing, the drawing you did works. It's kind of what they meant. You can do anything with composition what you want, as long it works. It's kind of and they say that to learn all these and you need to draw your character here or here, it's almost useless to learn, because all the great artists are breaking those rules and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. I think composition is more like based on the feelings. You kind of need to feel it instead of learn the rules. And there are some exercises you can do to learn it, kind of to learn your eyes to see the good composition. Oh, speaking of proportion, I like a more stylized look. How would you handle that in terms of what would you modify? I always have that problem with muscles. You're watching WandaVision? Yeah, I'm watching WandaVision with my husband actually. We watch every Friday. There comes a new episode. The first 3.5 episodes were kind of hard to watch. I'm glad they finally revealed what's actually happening there a bit more. Stefan, what do you mean by stylized? You mean Fortnite or Kim Possible? I've learned also about this thing on the previous course, and there are some rules, kind of what you can do in stylization. I tried to no, not that. No. So, to be able to stylize body and people, you need to understand really good those known proportions. Then you can modify them and try to stylize those for your liking. For example, okay. What you always can change, like and make way bigger or way smaller, is the chest and the pelvis. For example, you can stylize a woman by making a really slim chest and making a huge pelvis, like this huge. And for that, you kind of need to understand how anatomy a little bit works. Yeah, she will have a bust here. Oops. I'm not used to drawing Photoshop. I use a lot. It's kind of... No, it's actually will be not this. Yeah, this doesn't work. And I explain why. So we have a tiny chest and a huge pelvis, and pelvis is almost really near to the chest. That's why this doesn't work, because I drew this too far away. So we need to do it like this. So it will be... So here will be the... So yeah, here you have it. A woman with a huge pelvis and really small chest, and it still works. And for example, you cannot break the rule of... Well, you can, but what I recommend, you can always play around with size of the chest and the pelvis. But if you do so, for example, if I drew the arms or elbow here, this will look kind of strange, because we know that elbows are always where the taille is. So I would recommend to stick with that. So the taille, the chest is really small, so she will have kind of small arms. And this part of her arm is almost the same, so you can measure that. So yeah, there you have it. And you can do something like this with a man. You can draw a huge chest, really small pelvis, and go from here. So you need to kind of try it out. I would say you need to always remember that Johnny Bravo, yeah. You need to kind of remember, for example, the legs. You kind of you can draw little, very little short legs, but the knee will always be kind of in the middle from the end of the pelvis and here the end of the feet. So this will be the knee. And the same goes to elbows, like you kind of want them to be here. You can also draw huge, thick arms. Not like this. It's not that easy, but I already said you can always play with chest and pelvis. That always works, and the rest you can kind of try and work out. Yeah, and or you can draw a man that is really long. Like this is the and the chest. This is the pelvis, and he's like super thin. For legs you can decide first you decide the length, then you search this middle line where the knees are, and then you draw the rest of the legs, something like this. Yeah, I think I get it. Yeah, it's difficult to explain. You can just try it out and see what happens. And if you want, you can try this out and apply your drawing for the next art critique, so I can see what works and not, and tell you. To make it easier, you learn one the function, how muscles operate the body, and after that too, the anatomy, the proportions of muscles and body. It's kind of true. When you understand how muscles are attached to the bones and bones attached to each other, this knowledge, you can draw any proportions you want. It will still look realistical, kind of as if it can exist, because all of the attachments and some smaller proportions, like for example legs, those thing where the knee is, that's it's in the middle, are right. So yeah. I might to do a couple videos on how to do the human body with casual vocabulary. Yeah, do this. Of course. You have to learn the anatomy to later modify in some organic way. Yeah, that's I think that's the way, and that's the best way. You first learn the fundamentals, this generic, perfect body, how it works, the anatomy, and when you nailed it, then you can apply those stylized things, because the stylization is actually the next step of drawing the real things. You need to first understand how the basics work. Any questions left? But what about the 1% who are born with an original style and make everything look good? Um, well, I think that's the 1%. And the rest of us needs to go the hard way. Is there a good online anatomy reference you would recommend? Uh, Anatomy reference. Poor Sergey. um, it's hard to. Well, it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to learn proportions? Do you want to learn muscles? Do you want to learn how the muscles are connected? Uh, because if you want to learn that, the reference won't help you. You need some modified drawings that are simplified, simplify the muscles, because there are so many in the body. You don't need them all. You don't need the main ones to understand them and to apply them first. So you need something like this. And if you just want to practice pose drawings, there are a lot of websites that have like this photo reference thingies. They have like a big collection of that, and you can even set it up for like 10 minutes sketch or something, and they will switch in 10 minutes the photo. Yeah. If you are in my Discord channel, I will try to make kind of a bulk of links or resources that are useful and put it out there. And maybe that's a good idea for a video also. I will write it down. Because there are a lot of YouTubers also, like Proco or Rake. They do great videos on anatomy. I would recommend, oh, not recommend, but how I do it. I kind of try to grab information from everywhere I can, like from YouTube videos, from the books, from the Pinterest. By the way, the Pinterest has a lot of good simplified schemes of the human body. You just need to search their anatomy, drawing, anatomy drawing, or something like this, and there are a lot of already prepared stuff. Yeah, but I wrote down for video that I kind of can do for later. I will never look at Spider-Man the same way. If you still have something to ask, then drop the questions. Other way, I will wrap up for today. How to draw fat characters that look actually nice. I'm good, thanks for your time. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for watching and supporting me. Thanks a lot, Stefan. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, to hanging out with me and listening to my broken English. Where I have to upload my work in Discord. There is wait. There is feedback section. I've made a screen capture. Here, can you see it? Here's to the feedback, and you can just share your art here. Some of us do this day challenge. So yeah, thanks so much for everyone. Thanks to my patrons, you're the best. And see you in Discord and on future just draw and hang out streams for now and in future videos. Bye.